for me, and then I kind of see it along the lines with a lot of my athletes, and I would say even for him, the struggle of competing online in comparison to in person. For me, for sure, and I know for him, it seems like those online ones, it's so hard to actually do well. But then in person, it's like a complete different story. How's your approach compared online compared to in person? Does it differ much? Or because I would say ours definitely does.
Yeah, I think it has to, because there's a good chance you're doing it on your own if you're at your gym. Whereas if there's like a field of people, you're going to be doing it next to 9 other people or whatever, right? And I think somebody like W, it's like you have so much experience of, for like wrestling. Like I'm going out on a mat with one other person, and they're going to raise somebody's hand at the end of it, and all these people are watching. Yeah. So, and you get to do that, 4 or 5 times throughout a weekend, where again, most kids aren't doing that. So like for me, and that's what I did, obviously, like all growing up. So it was like, you very quickly have to realize, how do I warm up effectively, have a really short, intense event, and cool down so that I'm ready to do it again, which is essentially a CrossFit type weekend. So that obviously prepares them well for in-person stuff. And then it's like, on top of that, CrossFit's great because like no one's trying to hurt me, right? And it's not like, they're gonna go out and like say like, hey, you lose, right? But like in that way, like he set up to be much closer to his peak performance at an in-person event versus there might be kids his age who are super fit and strong and whatever who crumble in person. So I think some of it is just like, if you are good at actually competing, then when you get in person, it's just elevated that much more. And people who they don't have an option for a redo, they oftentimes fall apart, and that's great, right? And that's one of the things, like for me, like that I remind myself of is, yes, I could go out there and I could fail my second snatch attempt, right? But so could everybody else, right? And I am generally a lot more prepared and gonna be level-headed compared to most of these people. So it's like, oh, it's raining? This is great because it's gonna get in their head, right? Like, I don't really care if it's raining. It's 40 degrees? Yeah, great, I don't care, right? Like, not that I would prefer it, but at least it gets to mess with them. That's for me, like how I think about it in person, and then the online stuff is, just trying to like streamline as much as you can and like would prepare for an in-person competition, give them like the same level of attention and detail for everything and like preparation into the qualifier setting, which I think is tough.
Do you feel like for yourself or any of your athletes that maybe they try to push a little bit too much in online stuff just because of the sense of, like, everybody's well aware that some judges are not things that should. So I think that just in watching the athletes that I've coached, and I know for certain that I've done it myself, sometimes try to go a little bit too hard too early in a workout, just because I'm like, okay, well, I know I'm going to move to standard, but I know there's going to be a ton of other people that put up these really good scores. It happens in the open, and I'm sure it happens in a lot of things that you do, because it's higher level. So
yeah, I mean that's sport. Yeah, there's gonna be people who cheat, and if you're someone who decides that you're not gonna cheat, then you have to be okay with the fact that other people are gonna be at an advantage sometimes because they cheat.
Do you feel though like that there's times where you're trying to do a little bit too much because of that? I guess
in the online format?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can certainly fall into that because you know how many people are stacked up. So for example, like we were talking about, okay, in the run workout yesterday, if this was a real competition, I see nobody behind me, I see nobody in front of me, so I'm just gonna cruise into the finish line because my points are gonna be my points either way. Whereas like Crash is like Z-score, right? So it's like, I'm sprinting to the finish line because I'm trying to get that last little percentage point. Or it's like in the open, I know there's gonna be 15 people that are stuck on rep 291 of this workout, and if I can get 292, I just jumped all of them, right? So it's like you're pushing to like all the way through. And I think sometimes that can, like, you can stretch yourself too thin sometimes a little bit, but also like if you're pushing yourself like that's just going to happen sometimes.
I found in competition, live competition, everyone goes out too hot, like on a rounds for time workout, and the mental feeling of being able to pick people off is so much better than the mental feeling of getting picked off. So coming out a little conservative and then passing dudes is just mentally helpful.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I feel like the couple times I've watched you compete in person, I feel like you're really good at doing that, at knowing your race and, okay, this is when it's time for me to go, no matter what anybody else is doing over here.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think what Sam said is like the perfect, like reminder of that. Like, there's no worse feeling than like you're exploding inside and people are passing you. Like, you're like, oh no, what is happening right now? Yeah, you feel like you're on fire. Versus like, you feel like you're like really like, okay, this is the round where I can push a little bit more and you're catching up to people. It's like, that's completely different like mental headspace to be in. So, yeah, I mean, I think that just comes down to like, again, the first, say it's a 15-minute workout, the first 80% of it, you need to run your race. And then it's not until the end where you can start to figure out where people are at and like, okay, I think I can catch him and him. And then you can really start to lean in.